see a lot of hoses here. Where are we at now here in Quinn Caterpillar?
So today we're in the hose press shop. We have Anthony with us. Anthony is one of our hose press operators. And what we do here is we custom make hydraulic hoses. So we saw the machines out in the shop that are hydraulically driven, or maybe have pieces of the machine that are driven hydraulically. Those hoses fail. And Anthony gets to rebuild them, measure them, put new ends on them, press them, so they can go back on the tractor, back on the machine, so it can do what it's designed to do.
Okay, so it looks like Anthony's working on a hose here. Now these hoses, I mean, they look like they have to be pretty specific, especially for the machines and how massive and how powerful they are. How precise, if we can come over here and talk to Anthony while he's working, how precise do we have to get here at Quinn Caterpillar when you guys are remaking or refitting or restructuring these hoses?
Pretty precise. They have to be pretty, they have to be clocked right. I mean, that's a
when you say clocked, what does that mean?
Setting the angle of the hose. We always start with one that's straight up, and then normally the opposite end will have an angle. It could be 180 to 90 to 182. So we usually get the degree out of there as soon as I put it on my vise here, and I'll get it figured out, the angle, and then we've got to, same way we took it apart, we got to put it back together.
So when students are sitting in class or watching this at home and they think, I don't need to use angles or degrees, it sounds like this is pretty important for these massive machines and the power that they have.
Yeah. And it's critical, like Anthony is saying, if he doesn't have the degree of the turn of this hose correct, it will not fit on the machine. And sometimes the repair is done out in the field, and so that means a technician, whoever's doing the repair, will have to come back. So Anthony will use a protractor to make sure that the degrees are set, that the lay line of the hose, the bend of the hose, all that's taken into consideration when he builds it.
So previously when we were here the other day and we saw that military vehicle and all the brand new hoses, those were all spec'd and made up in here?
Yes, Anthony built all those hoses.
Wow, so even something as necessary and as strong and as powerful as something for the military is made right in here to the exact specifications, and you're the man.
And really a big machine like that, that's designed to do a lot of work, a small hose like Anthony is working on right now will stop that machine dead in its tracks.
And then we also talked about, when we saw the D11, you said it's all hydraulically powered for the most part. Most of these, there's no crankshaft, there's no torque converter, you know, there's not a whole lot of, I guess you would think of physical parts, like an actual metal pipe that moves. It's all hydraulic fluid, you were saying.
Yes, yeah, it's all hydraulically driven. And that's why, again, the hoses, the hose portion, because there's going to be a pump that pumps the hydraulic fluid, that hydraulic fluid has to get to its component somehow. Could be a metal pipe, could be something like this, or it could be a rubber hose like this that Anthony's working on. Most of the time, it's going to be a combination of the two. You'll have some type of junction block where a metal tube goes to a rubber style hose.
Okay, so Anthony, what would you say is the most mathematical part of what you do? I feel like everything in here has a lot of math into it. What would you say is the most common math that you do on a daily basis? If a student was wondering, this looks like a cool job, how do I get into it? What kind of math do they need to be successful with?
Well, well, we do a lot of converting where we do, for example, like in centimeters into inches, stuff like that. I mean, that's kind of mainly
probably the big one.
Yeah, that's probably
okay. So if a manufacturer says we need 212.54 centimeters of hose, and you're thinking, well, I don't really measure that. Here in the United States, we don't necessarily measure everything in metric.
Yeah.
So you have to do the conversion and make sure it's still down to that exact specification.
Yeah, it could be like 153.5 centimeters. You know, so you gotta make sure that it's spot on. You can't really. Sometimes you can't really add an inch to the hose or something because of the fact that the way it's routed. You know, there's a lot of times there's no space for that. You know, for that extra. You know,
different wiggle room.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, it's amazing to be able to see all this, and people don't realize that all these machines are operated mostly by hoses and channels, and they have to fit a certain way. So Anthony, thank you so much for having us in here.
No problem.
Craig, thanks again so much for having us out here at Quinn Caterpillar. It's been phenomenal. Next time we come out here to Quinn Caterpillar, hopefully we get to see how does someone get started in a job like this? How do you get into the industry? And what are some different opportunities that await someone who's maybe looking forward to this in the future? So Craig and Anthony, thank you guys so much for having us. Back to you guys in the studio.